The rail cars made here by Siemens Mobility rolling stock were produced at one of the largest rail manufacturing plants in the world. Producing more things right here on American soil seems to be the new goal of manufacturers nationwide. Siemens Mobility rolling stock president Michael Cahill with me now live to talk about this trend, along with the president of the California Manufacturers and Technology Association, Lance Hastings. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Nice to have you here. Lance, a recent report by the Reshoring Initiative has found that 350,000 jobs should return to this country this year from manufacturing operations overseas. Now that's nationally. What are you seeing among your members here in California?
Well, we're very optimistic about the future because of that reshoring and the focus that the COVID pandemic has really put on not only manufacturing, but the domestic supply chain. But California still lags somewhat behind the nation, and we're trying to play catch up and pursuing a lot of policies that are going to help do that. But I think this emphasis on the domestic supply chain and some of the great things going on at the Port of LA are really helping us get some tailwind behind that effort.
All righty. Now, given distance and supply chain issues, Russia's war on Ukraine, the notion of decoupling also from China, or in other words, reducing our dependence on China, Lance, those are things that are making companies maybe recognize that it just kind of makes sense to keep production closer to home?
Absolutely, but there is a ramp up necessary. It's not something that we can flip a switch and immediately have a domestic supply chain. And there's some policies in the U.S. that really hinder reshoring not only the jobs, but also those key ingredients in the manufacturing processes. And we're having those discussions here in California and nationally with our partners at the National Association of Manufacturers to really bring about a much more favorable ecosystem to support not only a domestic supply chain, but reshoring all those important manufacturing jobs.
And what's something we may not be thinking about that's standing in the way of reshoring?
I think it's kind of the post-COVID fatigue. The workforce itself, just generally across all sectors, is challenged. And trying to find employees for the manufacturing sector, we need employees that are skilled. And bringing that skill to work so that they can have a long career in our sector is important, because they can grow a career, they can have a really good life for themselves and for their families. We just have to improve the narrative, particularly in the manufacturing sector, for the jobs that are coming back.
All righty. Now, Michael, we know Siemens has been growing for the last 30 years in our area. One caveat the Reshoring Initiative found in the good news of jobs coming back to the U.S. is that the new challenge is that there aren't enough American workers trained to fill the jobs that are open. What's been your experience over at Siemens? I know you do a lot of partnering with community colleges for initial training and then up-training for workers already in the pipeline.
That's correct, Sansaray, and you are correct. It has been difficult. We've been on a growth path now for essentially 30 years. This year is the 30th anniversary of this factory here in South Sac. But in fact, we've been growing throughout the pandemic. In fact, in the last 2.5 years, we've added 800 jobs here at our plant. It hasn't been easy, and exactly as Lance said, the post-COVID fatigue is a challenge. But we are beginning to see, I think, an added benefit, or a resurgence and a return. We've had a couple of job fairs. In fact, over the last 3 or 4 months, we've been hosting job fairs. And one thing that we're very happy to see is that our most recent job fair, we had more than double the applicants that we had in our first one 3 months ago.
Wow.
As you said, skilled workers, natively skilled workers, and some of the work that we have is not easy to find. And we have been partnering with the community colleges, whether it's Sierra College or Cosumnes College or American River College, the San Joaquin Delta College, even as far away as Butte College. We've been partnering with them to provide a pipeline for trained individuals. And as you say, we have an on-site training facility as well. We put people through our education centers, as we call them.
Well, you're talking about the job fairs that you've just had in the last one that was really, really successful. So in this kind of competitive labor market, Michael, with companies everywhere looking for employees, how do you stand out so new recruits come to you?
One of the things that we like to point out is the products that we build. They're sustainable products. They're products that are addressing things like climate change, and we all know it's going to be a hot weekend, and all of that adds up to everything like that. But we find that people, when they do start with us, they take a pride in what they're building. It's great to see our products running all across the nation. We have more than 35 customers across the nation, and not just in the US, also in Canada. As people perceive what it is that they're doing, there's a pride that's built up, and it tends to lead to word of mouth, and people do enjoy it. In addition to that, of course, we try to be an employer of choice by offering the best benefits that we have. We offer good good jobs, stable jobs, manufacturing jobs in general are something that we're trying to highlight the attractiveness of.
And we know that you make rail cars for SAC-RT and then Muni in the Bay, which a lot of people here are familiar with, and with the state's goals of getting more gas-powered cars off the road. People are going to be looking to public transit even more, so they're going to be in those cars. And then Lance, looking long-term, in addition to the employee crunch happening right now, I understand California is bracing for a silver tsunami with many people retiring over the next 20 years and then not enough replacements kind of getting in behind them in the pipeline.
Yeah, that's one of the nice things about the manufacturing sector. You can have a career-long time in the sector, and we're finding that those employees that are in their 30th year, they're starting to retire, and there's a large chunk, between 5 and 10% of our workforce is approaching retirement age, and that's going to create its own set of circumstances because those are literally the most skilled and trained employees within the sector. So the opportunity to backfill those as a group, but also just bring in the employees that we need to keep operations going are really, really important. And the challenges are going to be to make sure that the narrative of manufacturing is no longer the dirty, dark, and dangerous environment that a lot of people, particularly in the movies and Hollywood, want to make it appear. But the manufacturing sector right now is the cleanest, quietest, and safest it's ever been. And we're really proud of our record on all three of those measures.
All righty, gentlemen, we're going to have to put a pin in it there. Thank you so much for coming in to share about what a lot of people don't think about when they consider California and the job market here. They're not necessarily thinking about manufacturing, but you've definitely put it on their minds. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.